Gotta give you a mudding and taping view, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. So we got a, I'm pretty sure this is old mud, but it's the yellow box, which you can see here. This is the yellow box of mud. Let me show you. It says right on the box, for taping. Might say backwards, but basically ready mix for embedding bead, wallboard, tape, and trims. Excellent adhesion. So because they put glue in this mud, that's why it's yellow. You never want to use this for anything other than tape, putting on corner beads. You don't want to fill holes with it or nothing like that. You don't want to use it because I had an argument with one guy. He's like, "Oh, it's mud is mud." No, it's not. It's not. Piss water and shit water is not good water. Clean water is clean water. So same thing with the mud. You have to do it a certain way. So I already got some mud in here. It's old, but I don't want to throw it away. I'll just mix it in with this stuff, right? And you can tell the mud, this is a finishing mud. This green stuff, ready mix, designed for fill coats. Low shrinkage, easy to apply. So it's nice and smooth. I personally like the red. It's really silky smooth. And when it comes to mud, you guys gotta understand this. You don't need to add water unless you're adding water for one reason, making it easier, smoother coats. I like to just put a little cup of water just to make it a little more pliable and smoother. It's a little silkier, but you don't want to add water because the more water you add, the longer it takes to dry. Basically that's it, the longer it takes to dry. And this stuff's already mixed the way you need it. So you just got to mix it up, get the air bubbles out, and that's that. So we're going to be adding that. Now, one way to tell if your mud, for instance, I didn't know what this mud, if it's finished mud or not. So it doesn't hurt if I mix this with that. That's not what I'm going to do. If you take your mud, you can actually smell. See, that has, I wish you guys could smell it. This has the glue. This one doesn't. You can smell the glue in it. They put glue so the tape sticks. That's why they do that. So now I'm going to be, this is my finish mud here. This already has some in it. So we're going to mix that with it. I'm going to pre-mix all my mud, throw the lid on it, let it sit. So what I do is you just basically fold the plastic over the box on the side, like so. Then you grab the box if you can, and then you just let it fall in. Pull the box off, and then you just pull the plastic off. Now you can throw it into the box you just took the mud out, and you have waterproof garbage can. You can throw all your crap in this after. So I only need one of these. The rest of the box I'm just going to get out of the basement so I don't have to move it around, whatever, right? So that's finished mud there. This is a half a box, or half a pail of the mud with glue, the yellow box. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take half of it in here and then the other half in there, and I'm going to mix half and half old mud with new mud so that way you get basically 100% there's glue in both, right? You don't want to put too much mud. I also have a pail of water off to the side just so I can wash my hands. I don't wear gloves for this. You should, because the mud is corrosive. It will dry out your hands. But I try not to get mud on me or on anything but the walls. So that's usually the game plan. And there's a bunch of stuff in the top of this. I don't know if you can see that. I gotta kind of scrape that off. So, hence, where all that's gonna go is in here. I'm gonna use this knife because I'm just gonna kind of scrape the top of the mud off, trying not to press any of this stuff into the mud because you don't want any of this crap in there. I mean, it's like there's an oil in here because it's kind of got this oily mixture that's kind of rose out of the mud. So our goal is to not get any mud on ourselves or anything else for the matter, and get rid of all. Yeah, it's totally finished mud, and I know that because usually when I mud and tape, I set up my buckets. So like I got these odd buckets, like this finished mud, this finished mud. The rest, the gray ones, are all. Sorry, I said that wrong. Not finished mud. This is yellow mud. Yellow mud. This is an odd bucket, and all the gray ones are finished mud. And then the one that's underneath here is a box of Confil. So now what I'm going to do is, because this is finished mud, I'm going to take half of this. Sorry, this is yellow mud. I keep saying finished mud. Half. Maybe don't drop it from 20 feet, Jack. There's already water in this bucket to moisten up the old mud that was in there. And you don't want to have water already in the bucket when you're mixing, because of the fact that when you're mixing, the water kind of acts like lubricant and will spin the mud. The mud has nothing to grab onto until it starts mixing. So it'll just slip around in there and you'll have a little bit of a harder time to mix the mud. So because of my OCD, I'm probably going to end up after this job just getting more gray buckets and just labeling the outside like this is finished mud, this is yellow mud, taping mud, or whatever you want to call it. So I'm going to go half of this bucket in here. And then, so we're going to have two different kinds. And the good thing about having two different kinds of taping mud, which is the yellow mud, is that one's going to be really liquidy, the other one's going to just stay as its normal form, and if you need more liquid, you can add it. The reason why you want it liquidy, because there's two ways to mud and tape. One is the production way, and one is I'm just everyday average Joe, don't want to buy extra tools, so I'm just going to use the mud straight from the box because it's already ready to go. When you add more water to it, it can pass through the tube. So I have a tube that allows me to applicate the mud onto the wall, makes it faster. So I'm going to show you guys the two ways of doing it. And first, we basically mix this up. And my OCD doesn't, I hate getting mud and shit on everything. So I like cleaning, keeping all my tools clean. Now when you're starting mudding and taping, you want to use a 6-inch knife to apply to the screws. And I'm going to show you the two different kinds of knives I like to use. And I like this company called OX. OX. They make good tools. They make good mudding tools. They make tools for doing concrete and stuff. This is my OX knife. Now this is a good knife. It's got the end on there to smash in divots or dents or things that you need so that you can apply the mud properly. And I have this all stainless steel. I think it's Kef. Beautiful knife, amazing. Whenever they fall and hit the handle. Very rarely will you damage these. It just feels good in my hand, more or less. This is a rubber grip, it's nice. But again, OCD, I have to have this set of knives. So I have a 6-inch, and I have a 12-inch. Or sorry, 10-inch. Yeah, because it's 4 inches bigger. So, but I don't need this right now, so we're just going to put this away. We don't need that. I only need one. I only need one. So, we're going to mix both of these up first. So second, grab our mixer, into the mud it goes. And we don't need something plugged in here. Probably the battery charger right now. So we'll plug that in. And then you want to grab the bucket with your feet. You can see that with your feet. So that, because if you don't grab with your feet, the bucket will sink. But you don't want that. So this one's pretty liquidy as it is, so I'm going to make this one the one that I use for the machine tools. This one, probably not as pull it out, spin it off in the bucket. And there's a reason why I'm pre-mixing everything, because I like to have everything out of my way. You want to be able to move fast with this, right? So, we've got our yellow one. We're going to top this guy up. And you can just hit it so that, because I don't want all of it in here. The other half is going into the other part. Or all of it's going to go in there. It looks like all of it's going to go in there. Now, if you really want to get all the mud, and I don't like doing this, but I'm going to show you. If you really want to get all the mud off of the bag, you just grab the bag and you pull it through. Doesn't help that there's air in the bag. So we'll do that. Pull it through. That's if you don't want to waste. But as you can see, there's barely any mud on it anyway, so it doesn't matter. You can take your knife. If you want to get every little bit, you can do it this way. It's obviously messy. This is why I didn't want to do it. But there you have it. And I don't recommend taking mud off the floor, but I know that that's just dust there, drywall is. So it's not that bad. And then I always have one bucket for washing my hands that doesn't have a lot of mud in it because even the water becomes corrosive if there's a lot of mud in it. I guess whatever that oily substance was in there basically basically tools are always clean too. That's the key to mudding and taping. Is all tools need to be clean. Now, we didn't want to put that much in there, so I'm going to just take this off the top, throw it in there. Usually you can put half and half, but it wasn't working on this run. Again, I like things always clean. Alright, here we are. Oh. This goes in there. So, the way you test to see if your mud is good for machine taping, for instance, like using the tube like I showed you earlier, is see how that just hangs there? That means this is just good for applying to the wall by hand, right? It's a good consistency, and that's what you want. A nice consistency. This way we can literally just take the mud from the bucket, apply the tape, and go. So I will be showing you guys in a separate video just on how to hand tape with box mud. So this yellow lid is going to be box mud only. I won't need it for anywhere else. I'm going to put the bench out here so this way you guys can see what else I'm doing. So I notice a lot of people out there taping, oh, I'm a professional at this and I'm a professional at that. Nobody explains any of this. So might as well somebody that at least can show you guys how to do it right. And here I am. I'm going to do, I want to basically have all my mud ready so I don't have to mix it twice. Another one. Boom. Done. So, I might get my hands dirty on this. That bag's pretty clean. This can be out of the basement of my way. Now, just so you guys know, this is what I'm putting the bench here, so maybe you can see what I'm doing in the bucket. I like to take my knife and clean all the sides off. then mix again, right? This stuff's all gonna get wet and dissolve. You don't want a bunch of crust in your mud. So you see how that all crusts up as I'm scraping it off? Well, when I mix it, that's all gonna be mixed in with the mud. And this is gonna be a wet mud anyways. So I like to keep all my stuff nice and clean because cleanliness is next to godliness. Not that that matters to me. It's just a saying from a movie called 3,000 Miles to Graceland. So now, you always want to clean like that. There's my water bucket. I like to keep things clean so I'm not like covered in mud by the end of this. Hands clean, tools clean, everything's easier. And obviously got brush. Now, getting back to mixing the mud. I'm gonna mix this up a little bit more. Let's see if I can do it up here, that way it's a little bit better. This is gonna be hard, but I'm gonna try. Yeah, I almost need to be standing on this bench to do it. Yeah, because I can grip it. See how it's all nice and smooth? That's what you want. No bubbles in it. Again. It's a dirty job, but if you do it right, you can stay clean. Now, I'm going to need to put some water in here. And I like to add probably, that's about a quarter of the pan. This is a small pan. You basically want it so when you pull it out, see how it's standing there, the mud? You don't want that. You want it to be dripping off. I hope you guys appreciate what I'm doing because I'm doing monkey tricks for you so you guys can do this properly. And now the water's mixing with the mud. Starting to separate a little. So now when I take the bit out of the mud, we want it to kind of drip a little more than that. So I have to add a little bit more water. I'll just do that. I'm going to add another quarter. You want it like just falling off in a drip style. When I pull the mud thing out, it's like just falling off. That's a good consistency. The other thing too is you can test out your tube to see how it applies. I haven't done, like if you can't suck the mud up, then it's too thick. Yeah, that's good. I don't want it too much more than that, because if I need to add it to the other mud, for instance, then it's not going to be overly wet. So now we're done with that part. Basically just going to take my knife. And yeah, you're probably wondering, well, what kind of paddle do I use? A mixer. Well, I use a paddle style mixer. These are the best for mixing mud. The ones that are just rounded steel, kind of like cage. It's like a tubular look. I have it at the other job site because I'm doing mortar and concrete work there. That's exactly what that's for. So I don't have to clean it completely thoroughly, because a little bit of that excess in my finished mud is okay. So again, clean it. It's perfect. This consistency, you could even apply your tape this way, but I'm just gonna put a lid on that. I know that this actually, that's not even the right lid. This blue lid is for this blue button. That's ready to go. I know that's taping mud. Throw it in the middle of the floor. I know this taping mud because it's got the orange lid. Now again, I like to clean my knife so that I don't get too covered. And now we're going to mix up finished mud. Or coated mud. Ah, come on. Now I'm going to show you guys one of the fastest ways to mud and tape. Now, again, I don't like getting sloppy, so some people will be like, well, that's not the fastest way. The fastest way is to use one of those boxes and put a bunch of sloppy paper in there, and then pull it over your hands, get all covered, and I don't like doing that. So this bucket's a little over full. Oh my God, it's hard to hold that with your feet. Take some out and put it in there. It's a lot of mud. So now when we start taping, we don't really have to stop too much. Everything's ready to go. The only thing we'll be stopping for is mixing the conflict. That will be the next step. A little bit of dust in there doesn't matter. Like that. See how nice and thick that is? Some people like it a little bit more runnier because it goes on smooth. You gotta press a little bit more. You can add like a half a cup of water to give you reference. Like if you have a Coke can, you could almost put 3/4 of a Coke can worth of water in each of these buckets to make it a little bit more pliable. So I use, in production framing, they won't even go to this extent, right? Like they'll be like, oh, I'll just fucking spin it off in the water. And that's what I will do, but I'm just showing you guys how to do it. Because this is what I do. Take my tube out, spin the water, take my brush, and don't get water all over the floor like how I just did, but at least if you can get the top part of the drill clean, you just undo this. And we don't need the mixer anymore. And we probably don't even need that bucket anymore. So now we've got our mud. Just gonna clean the edges off. Kind of see edges are clean around. That way we don't get a ton of mud in there. Now we got one bucket ready. And another bucket ready. When I start mudding and taping, I have that stuff ready. Mixing Confill is going to be the next video. There you guys go, 33 minutes.